Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition Chronicle, Cradle of Liberty. This is Prologue 2, One's Weaker Self. So let's meet our vampires, starting with Avery.
Hello. Hi, everybody. It's me, Avery, at Avery DuBois on all the social media platforms. I style myself as something of an internet personality. And this time zone, I will be playing the shaggy dog of the Camarilla, Vern Rasmussen. Bark, bark.
Az?
Hello, everyone. I'm Az, or as I was on the social media, because I think I'm funny. And today I will be playing Quinn Taylor, literal shadow dancer.
Laura?
Hi, hello, good evening, good afternoon, good time zone, folks. You can call me Laura or Tutu or Laura Tutu. And for this chronicle, I will be playing Bryony Perkins, the Ventru Princess.
Syrinx?
Hi, my name is Syrinx, she, her, and today I'll be playing Sky Taylor 24/7, listening to the old Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco.
Vin?
Oh my gosh, hi! I'm Vin at VinVoxVA on the socials, and I will be Marius Weiss. Don't worry about it.
No, nothing to worry about. And last but not least, Zach.
Hi everybody, I'm Zachary Vaudo, also known as Sneakernet or Sneakernet Music Online. Tonight I will be playing your late night golden child, Arthur Zebulon.
Arthur Zebulon. So if you all are ready, let's go to Boston. Tonight, two kindred of the Ivory Tower were sent to investigate a strange ritualistic murder that occurred at the Park Street station. They discovered, and indeed met, with the culprits a pack of Sabbat with colorful hair, space buns, and demands. Specifically, a demand to have both Richard Dunham, the Malkavian primogen, and Quentin King, the former Prince of Boston, who is long gone to the beckoning, handed over to them in exchange for their swift and speedy exit out of the city of Boston. The kindred were told only to seek out an anarch named Ceres for the exchange, and that they would continue causing a ruckus until their demands were met. We open our scene tonight with one of those kindred, the caitiff Vern, heading to meet a rarity in the Camarilla, a Bruja. And Vern, as you slip into the building that houses Liberty Night Radio, you see that Arthur is already in his booth, the red neon sign that says live is switched on, and his producer Peggy is sitting just outside doing whatever it is that producers do. You sit down on one of the plain metal chairs by the door and wait for Arthur to finish his broadcast. Now, Arthur, what is the hot vampire goss of the night?
We pick up in the middle of the news in between songs as Arthur is speaking into the microphone. Still no leads on the grisly scene that put Park Street Station out of service, listeners. Faced with what appears to be a ritualistic murder, police are doing their best, but have so far only advised alternate routes of transportation. Sounds like another night riding the T-system, if you ask me. Friends, we'll be getting back to the sounds of liberty shortly, but first, a few announcements for our most dedicated of listeners. Listeners with friends in need of a caring eye should pop by the Secret Garden on an as-needed basis. There's an open invitation for care. Just be sure to mind your manners, delightful as they are. They'll be keeping their eyes open for you. Negotiations between the local academic chapters of Boston, Hartford, and Salem have dragged to a halt. Is the hub stable enough to serve as a pillar of the state? The scholars in other cities are having their doubts. Listeners finding themselves across the harbor in the Long Island area ought to keep an eye out. There's reports of a dangerous wild dog roaming the area, last seen around some of the abandoned buildings. No sign of any local enforcement doing their part to catch it, but whether or not they're in the area, it's best to steer clear either way. We're going to bring you back to the music now. Here's one from the locals. This here is Vicious Pastimes by House of Harm. And I hit the button to cue the music.
And Peggy, immediately, Vern, you watch Peggy jump up from her seat. Peggy has very short, curly red hair, and she bounces into the recording booth, and she hands Arthur some paperwork. She says, "Oh, Arthur, that was great. That was amazing. I mean, cryptic like always, but you just make it sound so good."
Hell, it's okay. The people that need to understand will understand. There's no need to get too into the weeds with everybody else. Most people are here just to listen to the music.
Can you roll me what's an insight, Arthur?
Absolutely.
But before you do that, Top of the Chronicle, Huddyverse. 3 rouse checks.
All right, let me find my dice.
And then roll me a wits and insight.
All right, I go up by 1 hunger.
So you're at 2 hunger tonight.
Mm-hmm. You say wits and insight? Mm-hmm. 4 successes.
4 successes. You can see that Peggy's done her hair up a little bit. She smells a little different, like she's wearing a much more expensive perfume. She's wearing nicer clothes than she usually does, and she's wearing makeup.
So, at the end of my sentence, I go, Peggy, are you going out later?
Well, I had kind of thought that maybe we could go out when you were done, with your broadcast. There's this great place that opened up called the Queen's Cellar. It's like a wine bar, and I don't want to go by myself.
Oh, what time do they close? I'm going to be here for quite a bit of time.
Yeah, well, that's the great thing about it, is that they're open till almost sunrise. They're open till about 4 a.m., which, isn't normally allowed in the city limits, but I guess they got special permission or something.
A 4 a.m. wine cellar. Sounds intriguing.
But somebody waiting out here for you. I assume they're for you because they didn't say anything. And sometimes you get weird visitors that just wait for you to be done broadcasting.
I'll take a look through the window wall to see Avery, and I'll go, oh, right, you are. This might determine if we have to do a rain check on the wine cellar tonight or not, but so far, let's say yes.
Great. I just need to run to my car. I have to get a couple of things. But
no, go, by all means, we've got the music going for a bit.
I'll give you your privacy, and she sneaks out the back entrance.
Right. With the music on, I just make sure that everything is muted, and I just wave for Vern to come in.
And Vern will stand up and very kind of like trepidatiously open the door just with his fingertips. You're not recording, are you?
Not right now. Everything's muted. Everybody's listening to music for the next I could play 3 songs, 10 minutes.
All right. Is that one of your juice boxes?
That is my producer.
Just curious.
Small talk is not exactly your forte, but I appreciate it nevertheless.
No, it's this thing that I've been doing, I think, when I get nervous about having to tell somebody something.
Now I'm very intrigued. What's going on, Vern?
Dajan had Marius and I go down to Park Street Station. It's bad.
Sounded like it was. Ritual murders, bodies spread out, symbols drawn in blood.
It's a Sabbat pact, and they're making demands. I don't know why Marius didn't just let me kill them all, but...
Oh, you saw them?
Yeah, we talked. Like I said, they made demands. They want Richard Dunham. And the trickier bit is they want the king.
Now that I understand, but what do they want with Richard Dunham?
I don't know. One of them got real tizzed about it. So we probably just need to figure out what the issue is.
Well, Vern failed this roll last session. Let's try it now with Arthur. Let's roll either intelligence in politics or wits in politics, whichever is higher for you. Vern, I need you to make me a stamina and occult roll, please.
It's the same thing, and that is 2 successes.
No, that is about as good as Vern did last time. You know the basics. Richard, along with Prince Iverson and Beryl Underwood, who is no longer on this side of the final death, ran the circulatory system. Richard was responsible for, let's call it, manipulating the resonance of people's blood. The circulatory system here in Boston was demanded by Kindred all over New England. He was that good at producing such intricate types of blood that people required. people from all over would come to Boston or would make requests from the circulatory system here to get that blood. So whatever he can do with it is significant.
5 successes, 4 of which being a crit.
Perfect. Let me continue that conversation.
Yeah, so I don't really feel like trekking off to wherever the fuck Quentin went.
No, understandable. Now, is this discovery of yours, is this still being kept under wraps, or is this something I should let the public know?
Marius went back to talk to Dajan about it, so I don't know. I just thought You've always been decent to me. I thought I'd slip you the news as soon as I got it.
I appreciate that. Now, just to confirm, you said you don't know. Does that mean that you weren't told one way or the other what to do with this information once you got it?
Man, you know what people say to me. They don't tell me what I'm doing. They just tell me where to go. And this is the first time I've had to go somewhere where something didn't die. So I don't know.
Fair enough. Well, that is their shortcoming. Would you mind holding quiet for just a couple moments?
Yeah.
And I hit on air again as the song fades out, and I just go, friends, just popping in for a bit of an update for our dedicated listeners. It seems that we have a bit of an update. It seems that a pack of ignoble individuals may be behind the horrible scene at Park Street Station. We are advising you to keep a sharp lookout. We wouldn't want any of their dark prints put on you tonight as they were in the station. Now back to the music.
As you say that, Arthur, you notice right in front of you is a rat. It sits on your desk and waves at you as you speak. And Vern, you feel a pushing in your mind. And you hear your child's voice say, "Don't do anything stupid, Daddy-o." Now, Quinn, as you burst into Liberty Radio with Priscilla and Sky bringing up the rear, what are you doing to Peggy as you push her back into the building?
So Quinn has her arm wrapped around Peggy and is using her shadows to kind of hold her against her like they're best buddies. But she is definitely in front of Quinn, being used as a shield. And she's kind of making her sway with her as they kind of flounce in.
What about you, Sky? How are you entering into the building?
A bit more on edge, ticked off, her hand tapping against her side, a little bit annoyed, and trying to get out of it and trying to pick up some of Quinn's optimism and energy as they walk in here. And probably talking to Peggy and just saying, so first a right and then a left, or was it the other way around?
You're speaking to Peggy?
Yeah.
She's terrified. She's whimpering. She's confused and scared. And you see all around Peggy's feet are more of those rats from Peaches, who is somewhere in this building.
No, everything is fine. Everything's going to be fine. I'm sure these gentlemen won't let anything happen to you.
You hear Peggy say, "Arthur, what's going on?"
Having hit the music back, I'll take this off. Now, are you really sure this is how you want to start a conversation?
Oh, sorry. Salut, Quinn.
Great. Could we shake hands with my producer back in her producer chair instead of being held in your arms? She has work to do.
I'll hold her if you want to shake hands. That's fine.
And that's not what I said.
No, she's fine where she is.
I don't think she is.
Quinn's gonna kind of run her hands over the back of Peggy's cheek.
I would like to rouse for feral weapons, please.
You may. One rouse check.
I get hungry.
That puts you at 3 hunger, I believe. And your beast screams in your mind, "Fight, kill, Eat now.
I plan on it.
I'm gonna hold the hand up for Vern. I imagine at this point in time, and given what he just said previously about not having to kill stuff, I'm on the alert here. Let's go. No, really, if you'd like to have a conversation, you can come sit down, we can talk. I've got music running for a bit, but I need her working. We can have a friendly conversation.
It's a bit shit music, isn't it?
Well, now you're making it not friendly.
And as Sky says that's shit music, you see a Nosferatu appear in the room. She's completely bald. She has very large ears, and her skin is almost shiny and slick and sleek, as if it's covered in some sort of goo or spit. You're not really sure. And she slams down on your equipment here with her prowess activated and destroys it.
Just pause. Put the cigarette out. I take out my phone, swipe, type in a password, hit play, put my phone down. Just let the let the digital stream go and just go. Now look. Obviously, we're not starting off on a proper foot here. I am not sure who you are. I'm getting a very fast idea, however. And I would really like to have a nice conversation, but you're making it very difficult.
Well,
with
Quinn
no
already
prompting.
introduced herself, and you didn't really answer.
That was instead of doing what I requested, which is
Hi,
sit
I'm
down.
Sky. What's your name?
Hi there, Sky. My name is Arthur.
Oh,
Quinn,
great.
nice to meet
We
you as
already
well.
met him.
You I don't like so much, and I point to the Nosferatu, and I will have to bill you for that.
And when you point to the Nosferatu, she says, Peaches.
Great, Peaches, I don't like you so much unless you feel like replacing that equipment.
Nah.
Cool. We're gonna have that stick with us then. And I ignore Peaches and turn back to Sky and Quinn and go, how can I help you?
They are so accommodating. I love this.
Right. I try to be a good host, which is why I'd very much like for you two, or three, if Peaches...
There's another
the dirtiest
Kindred
eat.
in here next to Sky. She has dark hair. Looks like she hasn't washed her hair in maybe a month, but she has done... They all have space buns. Peach's space buns are made out of the rats that are rapidly filling your building, but... Priscilla's space buns look like she doesn't really understand how they work, but she wants to fit in with everyone else, and she sort of just tied her hair on top of her head.
Well, then I would very much like for the three of you, four if Peaches here wants the dirtiest seat, to take a seat with me. Let's talk, but please, again, let's let my producer get back to work. I think that we can have a completely civilized conversation in the meantime, with nothing untoward happening on either side.
Quinn's gonna look at Sky.
They all look at Sky.
I mean,
You know
Priscilla talked about wanting to be a DJ for a while.
I like this one. He's been very inviting. We'll sit and Peggy will sit with us for the moment. But I'm sure that when we have our lovely conversation and when you've offered to help us, give us what we want, then we'll leave Peggy with you and we'll be on our way. And maybe Priscilla can be on the DJ table for like one song. Yeah.
And then you can even ask the angry puppy over there. Just a quick conversation and then we go.
Oh, super quick.
Vern, are these the friends that you made earlier?
He'll just nod. He won't say anything.
Wonderful. Please have a seat. Let's talk.
Where do you want to? I'm assuming you want to like go into your booth or.
Oh no!
where-
If you've come in and just barged away into the radio station, there are seats where people usually get interviewed and whatnot.
Oh yeah, like a
And
table. Sure.
Like I'm still sitting at my desk, regardless of what Peaches has done to my equipment, because I'm still running music and just for you to sit down.
And Arthur, this room is almost entirely filled with rats. It's even if you wanted to stand up and move, they only part ways for Quinn and Sky and Priscilla.
Because Arthur's been so nice, Quinn will take the seat that's farthest away from the microphone.
Yeah, and assuming we or Quinn still holding Peggy, takes her in with us, puts her on a chair next to Quinn, and I'll also take a chair, just the one next to Quinn, and look around and say, "Wow, you spend your own life in this room?"
Sometimes I'm out and about.
Kind of boring, isn't it? Serving other people the entire time?
Who's serving?
You. The public, the show, yeah.
You really don't know me, do you?
Oh, no.
It's an exchange.
Say what you came here to say and get the fuck out.
Not how I would have phrased it, but I'm on the same page.
He invited us to sit down and have a talk. That's what we're doing, right? Maybe getting to know each other a little bit will help you be more useful to us, Sometimes, when you make friends with people, they want to do stuff for you. Right?
Now, Quinn, Sky, just not even looking at her, Peaches. And who's your feral friend?
The feral friend walks right up to you, Arthur, goes like this, and goes, and then sits back down.
Quinn, Sky, Peaches, and got it. Just Arthur is unblinking in this.
So, we've heard some things about you, and it's pretty obvious that you're well connected in multiple
given who
spheres.
You come from and all that, we figured it would be a good stop, seeing as how our evening was free because the puppy was so nice.
Yeah.
So clearly, you have, as alluded to earlier, a favor that you want to ask.
Yeah, sure. You know what? A favor
sure, yeah.
in return for not going into your city on our own and making a little mess from it, getting the stuff we want on our own. We thought, why not offer the camis some chance to prevent that, because you love to make sure that no one tramples on your territory, even though that just happened with the Second Inquisition. Anyway,
they are very rude, aren't they? They take up so much space. They did a number on your kind, if I recall correctly, all up and down the East Coast. It was just a dog walk. No offense, Fern.
Untaken.
Yeah. At least we don't pretend to make friends with people and then shove them under the bus because we can't handle our own fight. Anyway.
No, not at all. You just break people's equipment and take people hostage.
Yeah, what's wrong with
Friendly
that?
conversation, because we're not going to pretend we are what we are.
Fair enough. And like I said, a friendly conversation is what I would like to have. I would like for this to go as smoothly as we possibly can. I would also like that equipment reimbursed, because again, that was a really rude introduction to things. If you want me to do a favor for you, breaking part of my livelihood.
We could leave a few rats here.
They don't exactly DJ. This isn't Ratatouille.
Priscilla grabs 2 styrofoam cups out of one of those water bubblers, and she looks around for like a rubber band, snaps it, sticks them into the styrofoam cups, and hands it to you.
I think I like you the most. Gunshot noise.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Anyway.
That's very kind. So, we just need you to tell us where someone is, and then we're going to take them and leave.
You just need to know where someone is.
You don't have to get them for us. I mean, if you do, that's above and beyond. But,
So
Fair enough. I'll tell you what, if I know where they are, we can talk.
well,
If
I mean,
don't know where
all
they
the
are,
help-
I hope you understand
shut up
that-
for a fucking second. Okay. So. Okay, we need to know where they are. But kind of the thing, as I said before, is if we know where they are, then we will go get them ourselves. And, subway, all of that, kind, blah, blah, blah. We would make a mess out of it, as you would say. So, here's the thing. I'm sure the little puppy dog here already said it to you. You, and you can work together with people all you want, you don't have to do it yourself, are gonna get us 2 people from your tower, and then we'll leave. And we'll take them with us, and we'll leave your city behind, and you can do whatever it is you keep doing in this little room, not every night, as you said. And it's gonna be fun like that. Okay? And people we're talking about are Richard Dunham, Malkavia and Primogen here sitting in your tower, and then a little someone called Quentin King III, who people said that he left and he's not in town anymore. He definitely is, and you can find him, I'm sure, with the connections you have with, who's above you, who made you, and all of that. I'm sure it's so easy for you to find them. And
Yeah,
bring them
that's
to
one
us.
of the reasons that we came to you, because of how important you are to. Well, I'm not going to go over everything.
So just to clarify, and I'm going to talk because I assume it wasn't you telling me to shut up just now, and because you'd like me to answer you. Just to clarify, you want me to make connections to figure out where these people are. You're not expecting me to tell you right now, because quite frankly, I don't have the answer to that, and I would tell you that your best bet would be to look at Elysium if you were trying to find somebody.
We also gave the other people a little bit of time to figure that out. I don't know how much did we give them I don't think we gave them a number. I think we just said if we got bored, we would let them know.
Pretty much, as long as they were actually keeping to the end of the deal, no issue. Right,
Priscilla, or gunshot noise, walks over to Vern and starts waving her finger in his face. He knows how to get in touch with us.
Oh, you do speak. Great.
Hiya.
All right, so your whole deal is you want some information on where people are so that you can go do what you do best and leave. And your big threat on this, because it is a threat, let's be blunt since we're not hiding things, your big threat is that you are going to cause more problems in the city and piss off more people that will then want to hunt you more. That's the game here. And again, you talk about who I am, where I'm from, how important I am. So your thought process in getting this done was to then come in here and threaten my employee to get this done, because I wouldn't possibly take offense to that.
He offered to be helpful, right? We just told you what we need. You wanted a quick conversation.
I
You want to
did.
be helpful. You want Peggy here to be back in the director's chair.
And Peaches offhandedly says, "My rat's got her scent now." As there's about maybe 20, 30 rats who have crawled all the way up to about her neck level.
What was it again, Peaches? Wine cellar, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Queen cellar.
Wine cellar.
Priscilla jumps up onto your desk and says, "Tick tock, Killer Croc."
So, I'm assuming we can expect the 2 people very soon then.
Well, again, I have to actually figure out where they are in the first place. I would tell you to go to Elysium if you wanted to find them normally, but if you're looking for actual information, I'm going to actually have to do my work, which involves having my people, and I point again at Peggy, that help me do the research. Help me do the research. And not socialize.
So, looking at Peggy, does Peggy look like she knows?
No. Peggy looks like she's about to have an emotional and mental breakdown. She has no idea what's going on.
I don't think she's cut out for this.
I think she's just fine. Peggy, look at me, and I'm going to use Melpomene with awe on Peggy specifically. Just, Peggy, look at me. You're doing great. It's just...
She has silent tears streaming down her face as rats have covered her from almost head to toe.
Hey, it's just one of the hurdles of being who we are. You know that. We've had police in here. We've had protesters. It happens.
You didn't say anything about rats.
I didn't, because I wasn't really expecting that, I've got to say. But we'll get this over soon enough. Our new friends, Chun-Li and Xenon here, will take their friends and leave. And then we'll get to work.
That was a really funny joke, Arthur. I wish I could laugh right now.
Thank you. And I look back to Sky and Quinn and go,
Well, meanwhile, while you were talking to her, I was like giving eyes to Quinn and like just being like pointing to her like silently to Peggy, be like making weird gestures of like, I don't know, what do you want to do? Do you want to do anything with her? Like, you seem quite taken, but like all of it in silent, like non-speaking motions.
Yeah, Quinn looking at Peggy being like, no, she's too soft. No.
and I'll just look back to Quinn and Sky after I finish talking to Peggy and just go, if you wouldn't mind leaving us be. And again, the equipment, that's going to be a big sticking point in my motivation here. I can actually get to work and try to help you out.
Sure, we'll just leave we don't need her. We'll leave her here. You can go to the wine cellar tonight and stuff, and then actually deliver what you're just offering. And then everything will be fine. There's no trying in this. There's no trying.
And the bonus would be
find
not having to deal with more of the Inquisition, or you can go back to your little dealings with the Anarchs. It'll be fine. No one has to know anything.
I imagine if the Inquisition were here, you would be the first ones to have an issue with it. But, like I said, I have to actually do the work if you want me to help you. So if you wouldn't mind, and I'll just gesture out.
Priscilla comes up to you and says, I'll do you one favor, Casey Kasem. And she looks at Peggy, grabs onto her face a little too roughly, and she says, go to sleep, sweetheart. Peggy is immortal. You haven't given her any of your blood. And Peggy does fall asleep.
And I'll immediately just like relax and just go, is she going to remember any of that?
Guess we'll find out when she wakes up.
I guess so. Look, if you want me to try to find the prince for you as well as
I lean over the table like towards Arthur, and I hold out like a hand and I say, it was lovely meeting you, Arthur.
Tick-tock, Killer Croc.
I go and I reach forward and I take the hand.
I don't. When you reach like you're about to take it, I don't take it. I just like give it like a slap, and then like just do it like that and be like, great. Okay. And I lean back.
I go, good enough. Now then, I have work to get to. I have.
You've already said that like 3 times.
I know, and you're still here.
So you want us to leave, and you should just say that you want us to leave.
I stand up. I think he wants to leave. He's not saying it, but
you're right. I'm following a precedent.
Yeah,
you're so right.
Right.
You're absolutely right. Get the fuck out of my studio so I can work.
And Peaches says, I want us to leave.
And I turn to Peaches, and I'm going to steer straight at Peaches and go, I would really like for you to leave too. And actually on Peaches, not Sky, not Quinn, not Priscilla, specifically Peaches, I'm using Dread Gaze.
Okay, what is the counter roll for that?
Dread Gaze is a counter of, where is it? Just had it. You're going to roll Composure and Resolve. I'm rousing the blood.
Believe it or not, that is Peach's highest attribute dice roll.
Outstanding.
They had no reason to break your equipment. I'm just curious. I'm gonna spend Peach's a point of willpower because I'm just curious because I rolled something.
Okay.
Curious. Holy cow. Okay. I roll really well. We've learned this now that I'm actually a player in Avery's game. It's a problem. I should probably get some bad dice.
What's my difficulty? What did you roll?
I rolled 3 criticals. 3 criticals, meaning 12 successes. Plus 2 more, so 14.
Excellent. I'm looking at 2, 4.
I just was curious if I could get myself to actually 3 criticals in the roll, and I did.
No, that's fair, because I also rolled a buttload of criticals, and I'm sitting at 14 critical.
Okay, so that's 14 to 14. It's not going to take the effect that you wanted to. She is going to stop dead in her tracks, but she's not going to be stuck there.
That's okay. Honestly, with the critical win, the intention was Terror Frenzy run, but so long as it puts the point across of I would really like for you to leave, it's good enough for me.
Like when you do that though, and when she stops in her tracks, is what you said, Huddy. Like, I imagine that Sky and Quinn were like standing up and walking out. The moment you do that, Sky like that stops and just turn to look. But when like Peaches seems to be fine, she like smiles again and she's like, "Come on, Peaches, let's go."
I just gesture my head for Peaches to go.
What an asshole.
Quinn's gonna stand up, but she's also gonna lean over and look at the microphone. What's the blend again? And touch it. Okay, good to know. You have a lovely night out there. Bye, puppy dog. And then she's gonna start singing Dirty Diana as she leaves the room.
And as they leave, Vern, that mental knocking at the door again of your child. Nice going. Best if you don't talk.
When I start killing, I'm gonna start with your Nosferatu.
There is no response, but you do get a vibration in your pocket, a text message from Brienne asking you to meet her at the Ivory Tower at 200 Clarendon, and that is where we're going to switch our scene over right now. Brienne, you're not in your personal domain in Haven, the Queen's Cellar, in the back bay. You are inside 200 Clarendon, specifically in the Prince's office on the top floor, 60 stories up into the sky. Polished hardwood floors stretch across the office, partially covered by a hand-woven rug in muted tones of gray and deep blue. The walls are painted in a neutral shade, adorned with contemporary art and abstract paintings and framed photographs of Boston landmarks. The room's lighting is adjustable, you learn, as the Gangrel Sheriff Delson Coates shifts it from bright and functional to warm and atmospheric. Prince Iverson seats herself across from you in a matching sofa to the deep charcoal gray armchair you're sitting in, crossing her legs and straightening her tight red dress in one graceful motion. 3 rouse checks at the top of a Chronicle, Brienne.
That's 2 successes and a failure.
So you are at 2 hunger this evening. You see the Sheriff Delson Coates. Now, he is a man. He's about 6'5", with brown hair in a ponytail, and very broad, very brawny. He has a decanter that he pours blood into 2 glasses, and he hands one to Iverson, and he bends down and he whispers something in her ear, and she nods and she says, "Yes, Dejan said he would take care of it. Brienne, can I offer you a drink?"
Oh, that would be perfect, Prince. Thank you.
And Sheriff Coates walks over with the other glass and hands it to you.
Thank you very much, Sheriff.
He does not answer you, but you may drink it and remove yourself back down to 1 hunger. I'm sorry that I couldn't have fresh hors d'oeuvres brought up. Apparently there was a kerfuffle in my lounge this evening.
Oh my.
Yes, but it's being taken care of, don't worry. How are you finding these nights, Brienne?
Well enough, Prince. The Queen's Cellar seems to be doing quite well. It's become very popular, especially with the student crowd. I'm quite proud of it.
Yes, I am ecstatic that you decided to finally open it. Washington Street is one of our, let's call it, jewels in our crown here in Boston. I'm glad to see it doing so well. Of course, Xu Fang opening her club in Seaport has also been doing wonderfully, and we have been wanting to move into Seaport, and she is definitely making strides there that we thought not possible for one so young.
Anything for Clan Ventru.
Well, that's exactly it, Brienne. Anything for Clan Ventru. As you know, we are quite diminished since the attack by those horrific, monstrous humans, and we find ourselves without a Ventru primogen. Of course, your sire held the position before he met his final death, and it's now incumbent upon me to find a new one, and we are so few here, but we are filled with Ventru, so one is needed.
Of course. We are the glue that holds the tower together.
That we are, and have you no say to it? Have you no desire, no fire to take the position up for yourself?
I would be lying if I said I didn't. It's... If I'm being honest, it's something that Beryl was training me for in one way or another.
Is that so?
Legacy. It's important to us, is it not?
It is. It is my great-nephew now who runs the Iverson banking firm in Boston. Legacy matters. But Xu Feng holds the legacy of Beryl's sire, your grandsire.
Of course. And I understand comparatively. My blood is still new.
It's about on par with hers, but hers just carries a generational flavor. Caleb never sat the primogen seat. He was a scourge. He was a man of action. Beryl was a man of finance, numbers. And I suppose I am just wondering where the apple will fall from the tree and how far. So that's why I ask you up here, Brienne. I have a request of you, and I know that you are without a coterie, and I'm hoping that you will find the gumption within yourself to form one. Now, perhaps you would like to form one with Xu Feng. That I would say not. I would have no say to that. I would encourage such camaraderie between Ventru, but I am also a realist. I'm sure you know that with the devastation after the attack that the circulatory system has all but stopped, and especially since the Red Salon is decimated. Richard has been, let's call it AWOL, since his child and grandchild met their final death.
Was he unfortunate enough to bear witness?
Really, it's hard to tell with Richard. You know how Malkavians are. To be frank, he's lucky that he was allowed to remain in the city after Quentin King fled it. So horrific was the reign of the mad Malkavian prince. But he wasn't all bad, Quentin. You know, when the Sabbat attacked in the 90s, their Eastern invasion, I believe they called it, they never even breached Boston's gates. Quentin stood there with his Knights of the Round Table, his childer, and beat them back. The cities north of Boston never even knew that an invasion was coming, and I remember a young neonate, Theo Bell, showing up with Justicar at the time, showing up with his troops to aid the city of Boston, and instead what he was met with was a medieval courtly feast held by Quentin. Truly, it was something to behold, but mad he was, terrible he was. If Richard was not so useful, he would have been cast out with the rest of them. I don't know if he was there when his child and grandchild died. I don't know how he survived 2 attacks by the Second Inquisition. What I do know is that Richard is important to the circulatory system, which we must rebuild. Because if we don't, then Boston will be lost.
Of course, my prince.
I am trusting you to come up with a team. I believe Dijon wants his whip to come along. He is keen on making sure that they are in the cookie jar of every single operation here in the Camarilla, which I don't love, but as I said, we are quite diminished and we need all the help we can get in rebuilding. Richard has been seen inside the Red Salon, what's left of it anyway, oohing and awing and haunting it like a ghost. I need him off of the streets and back in this building tonight.
Then we need to sweeten the pot, as it were. We need some reason for him to leave. If he's content being a haunt, give him something better to do.
That sounds like something for my attaché to handle. For if he smells my lovely sheriff here, and she touches Delson ever so gently on the chest, but practically does not make any contact, and you see him stiffen before she removes her hand. If he smells Delson, he will go running. Malkavians, Brienne, perhaps you haven't had the experience with them. They are mad creatures, prone to fits of fancy. They must be reeled in. Do whatever you must. As I said, assemble a coterie, assemble people. Take Shufang, if you would like. Take your dog. Take the whip, for sure. Do whatever you need to bring him here. And I can almost guarantee a primogen position for you in the near future.
And if force becomes necessary, Prince?
I don't care if you drag him in here covered in stakes.
Just wanting to make sure that we're on the same page.
She leans back and downs her drink. You are dismissed, Miss Perkins.
Thank you for your time, Prince. And I'll give a polite nod to the sheriff, stand up, smooth my vintage Valentino, and walk out.
And as you send a quick text off to Vern, the dog, as Iverson called him, to meet you at the tower, I'm going to move over to Marius. Marius, you had a very interesting night. Dijon sent you and the dog to go deal with that ritualistic murder. Of course, you learned it was the Sabbat, and now you have to come back and tell him what you have learned. And as you enter into his office, you see, and you're used to this, as I said in the previous episode, Dijon has something about him that is so very human. He hasn't quite broken that, where he gets angry and frustrated quite easily, and it is impossible for him to hide it. So as you walk into the room, you can tell that he's angry. And would you make me a dexterity athletics roll?
Okay, I guess.
That's cool.
That's totally
it's not my
fine.
favorite, but I'll do it for you.
Totally not my column. Okay, you said death athletics?
Dexterity and athletics.
Ooh,
Dijon.
that is 2 successes.
4 successes. He immediately, when he sees you, he goes right up to you, grabs your arm, twists it behind your back, and puts your head down onto the desk. And he leans down to your ear and he says, "Is this what you did to that blood doll at the lounge? Did you do it like this?" And he presses your head further and further into the wood. Please take a point of superficial damage as you hear his desk cracking.
You know, it was sans the arm, but this feels about right.
When I sent you out tonight, I said that our position here in the ivory tower is precarious. I said to feed and do it in a way that would be the least problematic for the clan. What did you do?
I lost my temper, just like my sire.
And as soon as you say that, because I knew you were going to say that, he pulls your hair and then slams your head back down onto the desk before letting you fall to the ground. And if you would make me now a composure and resolve roll. He has a specialty in this particular thing. Composure and resolve. You may rouse if you like. You're still at the hunger you were at. 4, 4, 5.
Let's see. Make sure I got the right dice real quick. 1, 2. And then 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's 1.
Oh my god, come on. I need...
What you doing there, buddy?
I need different dice. Like, I can't... This isn't okay.
Yeah, you might. Another 2 successes.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He gets right up to your face and he begins shouting. And he's shouting so loud and his eyes are fiery, burning anger. And he's using specialty in intimidation to almost force you to stay on the ground as he screams at you. And he says, "If you have come to me with any other news than you have dealt with the problem at Park Street Station, that the city is crystal clean and clear for the Hartford and Salem Chantries to come together for our discussion on the new establishment of the Boston Chantry. If you have anything else to say that is not that, I will punish you. Speak now."
I need to take my leave.
"You will take your leave when you give me the truth. Do not lie to me, whip."
I tried to negotiate with the Black Hand, and they have a request. I didn't fight because I didn't want to lose my fucking tools, sir.
What was the request?
They wanted 2 Malkavians, if I can remember correctly. Head injuries make people foggy.
You had the dog. Why didn't you just eliminate them there? Who cares if he died in the process? You are soft. You are weak. Unworthy of the blood I have given you. And for your final roll, Marius, resolve and willpower. This is where I say sorry.
Oh, joy. I love Vampire the Masquerade, a game of personal and political horror. You said resolve and willpower?
Yep. This is where I remember, actually, Aileen, Huddy, Huddifer, go screw yourself. Did not roll as well. I did roll him a messy critical. Of course I did.
Okay, I am going to willpower, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I rolled him.
that is 4 successes.
7 successes with a messy critical.
Okay.
That's fine. He grabs you by the face, pulls you up off of the ground, and holds you up. Lays you down onto the desk. I assume you have a notebook of some. I believe you had a notebook of some kind with you, or you have notebook paper of some kind to keep notes of things. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. He pulls it out of your pocket, wherever you were keeping it, rips a page out, and he says, "Write your name."
He does.
Takes paper, goes over to this sort of eternally burning pot here that he uses for rituals, and he puts the paper into the fire, burns down into the sort of metal bowl here. He cuts open his palm, pours his blood down in it. He brings the bowl over to you. Drink it.
Also drinks.
You drink. I hope you enjoyed drinking from that blood doll. It'll be the only blood you enjoy for a little while.
I'm sorry.
Sorry doesn't cut it, sweetheart. Go find Beryl's child. Make up for what you have done.
Of course.
Any more mistakes? You can say goodbye to your head.
And she leaves.
As you leave, you bump right into Brienne. Brienne, Marius bumps right into you and crinkles your suit. Or your dress, rather.
You look a little worse for wear.
Oh, that's what hard work does to you.
Well, at least my nail beds are clean. What's wrong?
Nothing. Everything is fine. I was actually supposed to run into you, dear.
Funnily enough, I was supposed to find you.
Well, isn't this a night of coincidences?
I love that for us.
I really do.
Shall we?
Of course, please.
We... Well, Marius, I imagine that you are well aware of the precarious position that the tower is in.
Yes.
After everything that's happened. And in the spirit of repairing those foundations, I thought we could come together.
In what way? What are you... If we can cut the fluff and just be direct, what are you asking of me, princess?
I need a coterie, Marius.
Oh. The C word with me. Anyone else are you considering for this roster?
Well, dear Vern is awfully good at breaking things, and holds up like perfectly like manicured nails. I'm decidedly not. You have your skills through the chantry.
Okay, that is 3. I'm sure you know that number. Anyone else?
Honestly, I haven't had the chance to do much of a sweep, as it were. But I thought we might gather down at my new club, discuss. We do technically have an assignment from the prince.
And I have mine. I'm pretty sure they're related, so I guess we can walk and then talk.
Mm-hmm. Many hands make light work, don't they?
I'm sure with those nails.
They are rather nice, aren't they? I found this wonderful girl downtown, just absolutely perfect.
And Marius is walking.
Yeah, no,
So-
Yeah.
So if I'm to understand, you're going to amend the text to Vern, not 200 Clarendon, but the Queen's Cellar.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, before we take our break, we're going to switch very quickly over to Vern. I assume after the Sabbat girls left, you let Arthur know that Brienne wants to meet.
Yeah, I think Vern would just say to Arthur, we gotta go. You should come with me. I don't want to leave you alone after this.
Arthur's in the middle of pulling like new equipment out of the equipment closet and putting it on the table and just sweeping the broken shit off of the table. And just goes, "Why? What other fun things do you have in plan for me tonight?"
Princess wants to talk.
Oh, does she? I don't exactly have any special events coming up.
Well, I heard your friend talking about wanting to go to the cellar. The cellar's Breeze place.
And our new friends heard that too, so perhaps we should go inform her of that.
Yeah.
One moment, and I hit it over to I get everything plugged in, hit it over really quick, and just say, "Folks, we're gonna play you out with a series of songs tonight. Take care of yourselves out there, and remember, liberty never sleeps." Hit it back to music, and I'm gonna text Forrest, like, "Hey, could you come? Like, Peggy isn't feeling well. Could you come close up shop? I need to step out."
He texts back immediately. But I just met this really hot chick named Eden. I don't know, man.
Yep. I go, "You can take your time. I'm gonna lock up. Just make sure she's good before."
How much? And he
turn
immediately texts back, "How much time?"
Before sunrise, I type.
Cool.
Yeah. Send the bill for this stuff to Bree. Say I didn't know my own strength and I broke it. It'll be... It's the only wallet you're gonna get fingers in, Zeb.
I point over to like the supply closet and just go, "It was really more of the spirit of the thing."
Yeah. Still. I got a feed on the way there. So we
All right,
should...
well then, you head on ahead, and I'll meet you there. Then I don't want to get in the way of your.
How about I feed and come back here with my truck, and we'll go.
Deal.
All right. Just keep an eye on your human.
Very quickly, Arthur, is there anything that you wanted to do?
Yeah. Put all of my weapons into my bag or my person.
Sure.
And then I'm just going to make sure that Peggy is okay, like asleep or not. Just
Peggy,
make sure she's okay.
pulse is okay. Peggy's breathing. Peggy is asleep.
Okay. And I'm going to tuck her in. I'll text her phone saying, "Stepping out, Forrest is coming. Need to handle this, period."
Perfect.
And I'm going to lock up and set security behind me.
And this is not brawling against Kindred, so no specialty there.
Now you just pop out of Liberty. It's sort of right along the waterway here. So you can look for people who are just, wandering off from the bar or wandering to a bar or bar hopping, which is... Everyone in fucking Southie does that.
6 successes.
6 successes? Yeah. That's a lot of successes. So you grab someone, slam them up against the side of the building. They hit their head pretty hard, but you don't notice right away. You're going to go in and bite. Now, are you going to take 2 or are you going to take all of it?
I'm going to take 2. But I think it's important to note that, like, as Burn just grabs them and slams them up against this brick wall, they're going to take 2 uppercuts to the bottom of the jaw and 4 straights from the left hand into the rib cage, hearing the rib bones crack as he's just like, "Those fucking space blunt bitches, fuck them." And he's just beating the shit out of this guy until he's a pulp. And then he'll feed and then drop him.
Do you call an ambulance or anything, or are you just going to leave him there?
Yeah, I'll reach in his pocket, grab his phone, 911, drop the phone and walk away.
Perfect. And with that display of violence, aggression, and animal-mindedness, we are going to take a break right here. Hello, everyone. We're back from our break. Coterie have all sort of gotten some visitors or had some meetings. Things are brewing here in Boston, and they all seem to center around at least one Malkavian, specifically the Malkavian primogen Richard Dunham. But some of these not yet a coterie members have also heard a few things about Quentin King and how he hasn't really left the beckoning, and there's some people out there who really, really want him. But Briony has called at least Vern and brought Marius to her domain on Washington Street in the Back Bay, the Queen's Cellar, which is a evening wine bar and club. And right now you're all sitting in her office, which is down under the ground. It's almost like a speakeasy vibe in here. Everything is very Prohibition 1920 style furnishings and decorations. And of course, Vern, you're very familiar with this place. You bounce for her on a regular basis, keeping out the ruffians, if you will. And Briony, as Arthur and Vern arrive, both of them... Now, Arthur is a pretty unflappable guy. He's pretty affable all the time, but he seems even just slightly shaken up. And Vern looks the way Vern always does, except maybe a little bit more agitated than on an average night.
Arthur.
Briony, pleasure to see you.
It's always good to see you, dear. Are you all right?
Oh, I'll be just fine. I just had a few visitors to the studio that I wasn't expecting that I'm going to have to dispose of at my earliest convenience. But I hear they might be your problem as well, according to Vern here.
That is the face that Briony makes.
Vern, since you were with Marius tonight, can you give me a wits and insight really quick?
Sure.
'Cause-
That pool was kind of dog shit for me.
Yeah, because I'm going to say,
Unintended.
Marius, what hunger are you sitting at?
I think I'm at hunger 1.
Perfect. You do have a contusion on your face from that one superficial damage. I'm not going to let you heal it just yet, because I want to see if Vern notices.
There's this thing that happens when I have 3 dice in a pool where I get 3 successes. It happened 3 times last game, and now it's happening again.
You notice that there is a bruise on Marius's face that was not there earlier this evening. And Marius, if you'd like to heal it, make me one rouse check. Or you can leave it.
Yeah, I get a little bit hungrier.
Uh-huh. 2 hunger.
Vern won't say anything. He'll just kind of move over by Briony and kind of unconsciously like reach out and take the back of her wrist and nuzzle the palm of her hand.
There's the slightest like lip curl from Arthur. It's like, but Briony, how are you tonight?
Well, Arthur, I'm just going to come out and say it. When was the last time you ran with a coterie?
Ooh. Coterie.
Hmm.
In the most technical of terms, I'd say I never quite ran with a coterie.
Would you like to?
Are you in need of something?
I am. The prince needs work done, and I'm just little old me. And I figure I figure the best way to get it done is to make sure we have a nice balanced composition. We have Marius with their brains and, well, Tremere shit. We have dear Vern, and she reaches over and just sort of runs her thumb along Vern's jaw as the powerhouse. I'm, well, the money. And you, from what I hear, can be quite persuasive.
I do fancy myself the voice of the people.
Perfect. And considering how dangerous things have been for us recently, there's safety in numbers, is there not?
Too true. Why don't you tell me what this is that the prince wants you to help out with? Call it intuition. I'm getting a sense that our interests might be aligned already.
Potentially. The Malkavian Primogen has holed up at the Red Salon. They need to not. In fact, they need to return to the Ivory Tower post-haste, per the prince's order. And Prince Iverson doesn't particularly care how it's done as long as it's done.
Now, our interests do align in that, right? Though it's going to get a little bit complicated.
It always is.
It always is. Now, Vern here had a run-in with the same people I did earlier. Did either of you happen to encounter a gaggle of gals with some fancy hairdos and terrible personalities?
Marius was with me at the station.
Great, so you know as well. Did they ask you for the same thing that I'm about to talk about in regards to our dear Richard?
Yes, unfortunately.
Wonderful. Brian Evis the bot would like Richard.
Bryony at this point has moved to sit behind her desk. It's this lovely dark wood, probably some kind of an antique. But she sits and she sort of stares into the middle distance and just kind of does one of these. Of course they do. Of course they do. It just me. I grabby. My God.
To say the least,
they ever get
were
tired?
very
I'm sorry, what was that, Marius?
Nothing.
If you want, I'll talk to Delson, and he and I can clean this fucking problem up. I'm tired of seeing them.
I mean, the less Sabbat in this city, the better. They tend to make a terrible mess of things, and we've already had the SI come through once. I'd rather not have a
Absolutely.
repeat.
Agreed. Though, as fascinating an idea as that sounds, Vern, they've pushed a particular button of mine, and I'd very much like to see at least a couple of them hurt very badly before they were to leave.
They're not leaving.
Metaphorically leave.
All right.
Okay. If we could just, of course, we're all frustrated. We have our disagreements. Let's just solve this here and now. Are we giving them what they want or not? And if not, what are our next steps?
Well, even if we gave them Richard, we only have half of what they want. Quentin's gone.
They want Quentin.
Yeah.
Seems to be.
He left for the beckoning before most of your time.
I don't personally like the idea of capitulating to a bunch of bullies. So, fuck them.
Fair.
Next steps, then.
Agreed.
Well, it's time to go dig a Malkavian out of his little hole.
Agreed. I don't possess this particular ability, but I would make the assumption that if 3 out of 4 of us were approached to retrieve Richard, that 3 out of 4 of us at any given point in time are probably being watched, because it would be very easy to find Richard. At least 2 of them can make themselves vanish in one capacity or another.
Amazing, of course. So, if they are watching us, the minute we go running, they will scamper in after and probably try to scalp him right from under our noses.
Most likely, and I'm just making an assumption here. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit for intelligence, but if you were to ask somebody to go find somebody for you, you wouldn't just sit back and assume that they're going to do it.
Marius, could you make me... let's do a intelligence and insight and add your dots and blood sorcery.
Okay. You said intelligence.
And insight. Add your dots and blood sorcery.
Insight. And my blood sorcery. I love the weight of dice in my hand. Let's see. That is 6.
Perfect. You left from Southie headed back to the back bay to go. No one followed you. No Sabbat approached you again. No Sabbat approached Brienne, but a Sabbat did approach Arthur, and you notice that Vern and Arthur arrived together. You assume that Vern went to Arthur, and then the Sabbat were quick to arrive afterwards. If you were a betting person, you would perhaps bet that Vern has a bloodstone on him that he's not aware of.
And unfortunately, they just beeline and start rooting through Vern's clothes.
Yep. Vern doesn't say anything.
It's when you get to the back of his jeans pocket, his right butt pocket, is when you feel the stone.
Lucky.
Well, shit.
Oh, interesting. Would you mind if I... That's from one of them, then, I assume.
Yes.
Oh.
Great.
Vern shakes his head.
Vern, do you actually shake your head?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you see Vern shake his head?
Vern?
Just destroy it if you can.
Well, actually, I had a better idea, if you don't mind.
Oh, please. Coterie and all.
Great. Do you have an envelope?
Oh, of course, dear. And Brienne dig into the desk and beautiful card stock, obviously.
Beautiful
Great.
cards.
Awesome.
Best cards.
Storyteller Boston Courier is a 24-hour service, and I like to make an online appointment for a delivery to Long Island.
To Long Island, New York, or Long Island, Boston, Massachusetts?
Boston, Massachusetts. Per the news story that I dropped previously.
You're sending it to the demolished black site.
Yes, I am.
Perfect.
Arthur.
Does Vern see that?
I'm not being subtle about it.
It's above his pay grade. Hands off.
Alrighty.
Once it's out of the room, Vern will say,
One of the anarchs that I bumped into in Southie probably slipped that into my pocket.
One of the Anarchs or one of the Sabbat?
She's anarch, but she's working with them. And she's my child.
Well, that's going to end very poorly for her if you're okay with that.
She made her decision.
Fair enough.
They maybe are called Saris. She was Diana when I knew her.
Marius, of course, you know Saris belongs to a coterie with Lasher and Junvog. For example, were the Second Inquisition to get a hold of Saris and torture them, well, they would give them up immediately.
Well, it's on anybody to tell me this because I don't know any of this information.
It has
But I'm
been,
not
it
being subtle
has
about what
been
I'm doing.
sent off, as
Fair
you
enough.
said. And Vern waited until it was out of the room before he said this. It is done.
Headache after headache.
We are
To say the least.
already off to an auspicious start. So, as long as we're certain that that is the only bit of tracking that is on our personages, I think we have
Again.
some work to do.
Nosferatu and De La Sombra in the group, I would consider potentiality at any given point in turn, but nevertheless, yes, we do have work to do regardless.
Let's go fetch a primogen.
Suppose so.
If we do manage to get our hands on them and the Sabbat, keep the red-haired one and the blue-haired one and the crazy one occupied. The Nosferatu has to go first. If we can deprive them of their horde of rats, I think that's their biggest weapon right now.
It would help. Also, Bryony, you might have to drop a bit of extra money for extra security here. They are aware of this location, by name at least. Maybe not that it's yours, but by name.
Course.
Speaking of extra security, as Arthur says that and you look over at the cameras, make sure everything looks okay before you knock down one of those books that opens a bookcase so you can sneak out the back and no one would know when you're coming or going. As I said, this is designed to be Prohibition style. You look on the camera feed here and you see that Shufang is here.
You want me to handle that?
I am going to try and be diplomatic.
That's not what I asked.
Not right now, Vern.
All right.
I could add diplomacy if you'd like.
You want to help?
Sure. Coterie.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. Gentlemen, would you give us a moment, please? We'll be able to leave shortly. Storyteller,
Absolutely.
I would like to make sure that we have, stakes on hand.
Certainly. I imagine that at the very least, Vern can go up to the apartment above the wine bar and get any equipment out of it that he would require.
Stakes, I think Bryony probably has at least a small pistol on hand just in cases.
Certainly.
Well, let's get this shit show over with.
So I understand. Vern and Arthur are staying in your office, or are you letting them out through the? Or because Vern knows where it is through the back entrance.
Yeah, Vern knows where it is. I imagine Vern and Arthur can collect what they need from the apartment and either meet us outside should they choose, or wait in the office.
Yeah, I think Vern will just look over to Arthur and, you don't mind if I call you Zeb, do you? I have bad history with the name Arthur.
I can work with it.
You want to see my place? It's upstairs. We can grab some party favors.
Arthur looks Vern up and down for a minute and goes, "Sure. Sounds great."
I'll take him out the back and up the fire escape.
All right. So we'll deal with that in just a minute. Brienne and Marius, you head out into the main area, and as I said, very Prohibition style. Everyone who works here is dressed as if it is the 1920s. Brienne, you also employ some people who dress up as flapper girls. You have stage shows that happen here. It's some light jazz. It's very, it's a very gentrified idea of a Prohibition bar because we're on Washington Street, which is one of the few places you can actually go to Starbucks in Boston and not Dunkin' Donuts. And stupid. Anyway. You head out and Shufang is at the bar. She's on one of the custom-made 1920 style stools, and she's speaking with someone who you don't recognize right away, but as you get a little bit closer, you do recognize her name is April. She is one of the harpies and is the herald of the Camarilla. It's Toreador.
Ladies.
And Shufang is a very slim, very attractive woman of Asian descent. And she spins around immediately on her chair. She's wearing a very professional pantsuit in gray, light gray. And she says, Brienne, I had forgotten this was your place. Looks fabulous.
Oh, thank you. You should come for the burlesque show every other week. The girls that we found, the troupe that we found, simply spectacular.
Oh, darling, I'm far too busy for that. You know, I have business to do.
Of course.
But I love that you spend your nights bathed in pleasure. I mean, you know, those of us who have more ambition have better things to do, but, you know, to each their own in life, as I have always said.
All work and no play, after all. What can I do for you, dear?
I was just catching up with April. And April is staring daggers at you, Marius. She was just telling me of just the absolute worst behavior that she's seen in all her years in the Camarilla inside the lounge this evening. She just needed to get away from it all because she just can't deal with the wailing of humans. And honestly, I can see her point.
Oh my. Storyteller, what exactly have I heard about this incident? Or have I heard anything at this
You
point?
haven't heard anything?
Oh, dear. I was not aware of such an incident.
And April,
Look,
again,
Marius.
you can see staring daggers at Marius, hasn't said anything. But Shufang looks over at Marius like, you wouldn't know anything about it, would you?
Unfortunately, I'm guilty. The beast gets us all.
Sometimes you forget that Tremere are beasts.
I can't help it. We are quite devious, ravenous monsters. Who knows when I'll strike next?
I'm sure that Dijon gave you a good talking to, April says, as she sips on her drink.
Very thorough. It won't happen again.
I am confident that it won't.
At your request.
Shufang looks over at you, Brienne. I am just, so busy these nights. I don't have time for burlesque shows or pretending that we're in the 1920s again. I'm going to be Primogen soon, and I have a special gift for Prince Iverson. Wait, my contribution to rebuilding the Camarilla and mending the bond between the anarchs that were just so helpful in fighting back the oppressors that so recently brought the hammer down upon us. I have found a Setite who wants to join us. Iverson will have no choice but to give me that Primogen seat. I'm sure you don't want it, dear. You're just so busy with your burlesque shows.
Running a business and all. Dear, it seems like you already have your plan laid out, so I guess I'm a little confused. What is it that you need here from me? I understand that you have no time for this, but Marius and I and a few others, we did have some work to do for the prince. We were trying to get out in a timely fashion, so if there's anything that I can do for you this evening.
Not a thing. That's fascinating. The prince sent you. You see, the prince told me that I should go take some time to celebrate, as I'm sure you know, that Galeb is no longer with us, so Bizori Investments and Iverson Banking have come together in a merger, and, well, they're doing better than ever.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Great news for you, Zoe.
I do hope that Underwood's law office will provide you with such funds in the future. Although, don't know how lucrative law offices are.
Everyone needs a lawyer.
Well, go on, do your task. I won't, I promise I won't drink all of your best stuff. Not that you would serve it to me anyway.
Darling, it's not like you can drink it anyhow.
Ooh, for someone who doesn't celebrate and is so busy, the gluttony is biblical.
Don't you have some blood dolls to go harass?
Fresh out. I think my taste got a little richer tonight.
I suggest you go chase it.
I like it here, actually. But you're right, Princess. Don't we have exciting prince business to do?
Of course we do. I do want to make sure that Shufang and April have anything they need at the bar, obviously.
Of course, because you're so hospitable.
Of course I am. So I will make sure that the general manager knows that these two are special guests of the Queen's Cellar.
Yep. Brock comes over and he's wearing his zoot suit. He's like, yeah, sure. You got it, Miss Perkins.
Thank you, darling. Lovely to see you as always, dear. April, pleasure to have you.
April seethes as she turns back around in her chair. Upstairs in, I'm guessing, Vern's Spartan minimalist apartment.
Yep. Yeah, the only real decoration in here are, strangely enough, a bunch of old, like, local show band posters that are, like, up on the wall. Other than that, there's a bed in the corner. It's all concrete, steel, and brick. Vern will head up the stairs to the little loft area above. Open the closet, and the closet is full of various weaponry. There's a baseball bat that's had the flared base cut off and has been sharpened to a stake on the bottom side. There's a fireman's axe. There's 2 shotguns, and a little box in the corner, a little pink box with a ribbon wrapped around it.
It's very depressing in here, Arthur, is the only way you could describe it. Like, you've known Kindred who you live in sewers and stuff, but even those Kindred that you've met, they at least spruce up the place.
It's a torn feeling, because on one hand I was expecting to walk into just an absolute mess, and I'm not, so it's great. But on the other hand, it's entirely devoid of anything, and I'm just thinking to myself, is he allowed to buy things?
You would almost describe it as being devoid of personality.
And I'm just looking at the wall, I just go, I do have a few more posters back at the studio from promotional materials that the band sent in, if you'd like to hang up any more.
I mean, not really. Those, the posters that are up are bands that Diana used to follow. It's the only reason I have them. They aren't even mine.
Fair enough.
I don't need a lot. I come here to sleep, and that's what I do. Anything in the closet's yours, just don't touch the box.
Anything but the box. Understood. Looking it over, he looks it over, he like touches his bag and his vest for the weapons that he picked up, and he goes, I think I'm okay unless you happen to have some extra stakes on you.
Yeah, the dresser, top drawer.
I'll take a couple of those and just put them into the top, like, breast pocket of the vest.
I'm sure I've got some more shit in the bed of the truck, but I just don't know what it is.
So you open the top drawer, you see that there is a bunch of papers in there, and it's just a bunch of scribblings. It seems to be, let's be not so kind and call it deranged scribblings. Just the word dog written over and over and over again.
Looking at that, I look at it. I don't visibly react to it as I move the papers around until I find the stakes and put them down here. And as I close the drawer, I say, Vern, you exercised some impressive self-control earlier.
Yeah. What about it? You didn't say go. It was your house.
I'm just saying. You made that choice yourself. And you made a smart choice, and I appreciate it.
I mean, I guess so.
More than guess.
So what's your deal, man?
My deal?
You got 1 foot in the cam, 1 foot in Southie.
Comes with the territory of the clan, I suppose.
I gotta be honest, I don't even know what clan you are.
Oh. My apologies, I'm Clan Bruja.
Oh. I'd have pegged you for a Toreador.
You'd think. I just tend to use my words over my fists if I can help it.
It's
a lot easier to talk to people.
What'd you say? That's a decision that you make. I can appreciate that.
Exactly. But with the clan comes the baggage and the boon of the side that they were shunted to. Ultimately, though, I like the city, and I like the people in the city, and I want to do what I can to take care of the city. whatever that may entail.
Yeah. What do you think about them asking for Quinn? And Vern, I think this is the first time Vern physically looks afraid.
Personally, while I may have ill feelings towards our previous prince, I don't feel particularly want to give that crew of miscreants anything that they want.
No, I don't care about any of that. And and he kind of looks around. Don't talk bad about him here.
Oh, is he listening?
Vern will just kind of look away. Do you think he's really back?
If he is back, then the city has much more to worry about, I'd say, than our current predicament of things. As to whether or not he's actually back, that remains to be seen. Right now, I'm trying to take a look at what's in front of me. But for the sake of those that he has wronged, I say with a very pointed look at Vern, I sure do hope he isn't.
He always said he'd come back, though. He's the once and future king. He said he'd be back.
You know, there was a guy in London that said the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know about some fucking lick in London, but I know
the
Quinn.
point is actions speak louder than words. And this is coming from a wordsmith.
I just know that Quinn had the juice to back it up. If there was anybody that was going to come back, it'd be him.
Then we'll see how much juice he has.
Vern will grab his jacket, and I think Arthur would definitely notice that his hand lingers on that box for a moment before he just shuts the closet and kind of jerks his head to the door. We should get the truck started. Bree hates it when the seats are cold.
So all of you meet on outside the Queen Cellar and head down towards the Red Salon. As I said, this was formerly owned by Beryl Underwood. Brianny's no longer with us, sire. And it was decimated, not during the first Second Inquisition attack, which attacked the Mandarin Oriental Hotel, where many kindred were gathered because there was an expansion happening of the circulatory system at the time. The Hartford and Salem chantries were putting in their own people to help make the circulatory system even more expanded and to reach even more kindred along New England. But Second Inquisition chose that moment for their first light operation, and Richard survived that attack. Of course, Jara didn't. And then later on, the Red Salon was attacked by the Second Inquisition. There, Beryl did not survive, but Richard did, who was also there. And as you make your way there, these memories come over you, Brianny, and it's strange. You don't dream, not anymore, now that you've died. But you do have this very distinct memory of the night that you and Vern became close, or the night that you decided that you wanted Vern around, at least to protect you. And it was 2 nights after the first Second Inquisition attack on the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. Your sire called you, and he never calls, but he called you desperately, begging for you to come to the Red Salon, that he needed you. And you arrived shortly thereafter. And these memories are playing out in your mind as you approach the Red Salon. And Vern, they're playing out in yours too. And Arthur and Marius, you can see Brianny and Vern slowing their rolls, slowing their pace as they approach the Red Salon, and their eyes glazing over, as eventually they come to a dead stop. Inside of these memories, Brianny, you are running down Washington Street, sticking to the shadows, scared. You had no idea what Second Inquisition was before 2 nights ago. Beryl hadn't instructed you on it yet. And you see him being dragged out of the Red Salon by men in SWAT gear. What are you feeling in this moment?
Sick. Terrified. Beryl chose me. He chose me. He gave me a new life and taught me what it meant to be a blue blood. We were going to make something great. And I don't understand. This can't be happening. This can't be happening.
You lock eyes with Beryl. He sees you. You see him from the shadows. And you feel a pull, a call to pulling you closer to him, and you start to answer that call. You aren't aware that he's using any sort of ability on you. You just want to help him. You just want to save him as these hunters, these people, this government agency, whatever they are, dragging him out, and his suit is getting covered in dirt and grime from the streets. And Vern, Jara is dead. You have been wandering the streets since you found out that she died. You haven't reported in to Delsin. You haven't checked in on Caius. You definitely haven't asked the prince what you should be doing. You don't know what to do. You're lost. And you have been wandering the streets all night. And you come upon this scene. What are you feeling?
I think for once in Vern's terribly long unlife, that thought to survival doesn't really matter to him in this moment. He's empty. Jara Drory filled his cup and he filled hers. They were natural partners, and while it was never romantic in the sense that Jara was with Caius, Vern always felt that Jara respected him for who he was, that she didn't see a dog on a leash, that she saw a man with dreams and ambitions of his own. And she taught him how to go about that in a way that the people that sit in the tippity top of the tower won't see you. And with her gone, that desire is dead.
You come upon the scene where you see Beryl being dragged out by the SWAT team. Is there an inclination in you to just fucking attack them and let them kill you if they have to?
For a minute, until the kind of perverse joy crosses his mind that I'll wait until they kill Beryl. He was always a bit of a cunt.
And that's when you see Brienne. You didn't notice her at first. She was hiding in the shadows, but now you see her stepping out into the light, entranced by the sight of Beryl being dragged away. They are going to see her, Vern.
She's just a kid. And I think Vern will rouse the blood for Blink.
Mm-hmm.
He'll just blink her straight into the alleyway with him.
And before you know it, this entrancement, Brienne, is broken, and standing in front of you is that shaggy... Beryl only ever called him Dog. You don't even know his name. He's shaggy, he's kind of smells, you don't think he's taken a shower, and he's pulled you away from your sire.
What are you doing? Let me go. Let me go. Let me go.
It's not worth it, kid.
No, he needs...
He's already dead. Just let him go. He's already dead, and he's trying to take you down with him. Listen, if anybody can get him, we need to get back to Iverson. Iverson will send Caleb.
No.
If anybody can get him out, it's Caleb.
It's going to be too late.
It's already too late if we just stand here. I know it sucks. I know it's hard. But he never cared as much about you as you did for him.
And Vern, those words drop on Bryony like a stone. You see the shock in her face. And then she just looks lost.
You too, huh?
He gave me everything.
I remember when Beryl was first introduced to court when Caleb brought him. And I can smell someone who doesn't give a shit about anyone but themselves from a mile away. And you don't have that smell on you. Whatever use you thought he had for you, it was just to make himself look better. That's why Caleb hates him. That's why Iverson hates him. And the only reason that I even want to take a step out there and try and get him back is he might know what happened to Jara. But I can't.
Sorry.
I can't take that risk.
Do I know that name, storyteller, Jara?
You do. Jara is the Nosferatu Primogen. Or she was. She is among the ones who never returned to the Ivory Tower after the attack.
What do I call you? I don't think we've ever met before.
Most people just call me Dog.
No.
I got a lot of names, kid.
Then what one would you like me to use?
Jara called me Vern. That'll do. Said it's because I was one of her jewels.
Thank you, Vern.
Yeah, don't thank me yet.
And as Brienne, as you say, thank you, Vern, and blood tears stream down your face. And Vern, you say, don't thank me yet. Arthur and Marius, you're there watching them stock still, eyes glazed over, and that's the only thing you eventually hear them say as Brienne is weeping.
Should we do something?
Slowly, I think.
Both of you come back to yourselves here in the present day on Washington Street.
I think without even any sort of conscious reflex, Vern just reaches over and grabs Brienne's hand.
And Brienne holds on so tight that she is shaking. Oh.
You good?
Oh, decidedly not.
Wits and occult for Arthur and Vern only. Unfortunately, not Marius. Extra dot for Vern. Extra die for Vern. So sorry, my baby Kindred wouldn't know.
You fucked me up because this is my 3 dice pool and now you're making it 4 and I'm gonna roll like shit now.
Well, life's tough.
I got 2.
Mm-hmm.
I also
All
got
I have is 2.
Perfect. 2 is exactly what I was looking for. Both of you remember Quentin King having a very specific hold over the Kindred. That's why he was able to stay in power so long. A specific hold over the Kindred of the Ivory Tower. He could stretch his mind out for miles and give people visions, make them hear voices, make them see things that weren't there.
Are you two all right?
It looks like old Dick Dunham picked up some of Granddaddy's tricks.
What does that even fucking mean, Vern?
Quentin used to be able to make people see what he wanted them to see. Voices. I don't do mind shit well.
Well, let's try not to hold it against him. I imagine he wants to deter as many visitors as possible, if in fact it was him.
I need a big ask. When we get our hands on him, I need to ask him some questions. He was the only person there at both attacks that survived. He knows what happened to Jara. He knows what happened to Beryl. He's the only one who was there both times, and he somehow lived. He's been dodging me for years.
I'll gesture to Bryony and Marius as for Arthur, this is not his mission. He's just here to help.
I need everyone to make me rouse checks for Brianny's blood tears. Not Brianny.
I'm good.
How about you, Marius? I'm trying to get your hunger up.
I guess they smell good. I get a little hungrier.
Hear the voice of Dijon in your mind. Bet you'd like to feed, wouldn't you, Acolyte? Bet you'd like to take a bite. Go on. Give it a taste. Give it a lick.
I'm fine.
The question becomes... The Red Salon is decimated. It is hollowed out, burnt out. Are you going to enter in, start calling out Richard's name? What's the approach here?
Once again, I'm gesturing to Bryony and Marius as again, to me, this is their dance. I'm here to help.
Bryony will look to Marius, and like she's actively like wiping away the blood tears, and you can see like here is a young Kindred who has quite literally lost everything that she had in the space of what, 2-3 nights? And the mask is very, very good, but it is still a mask. And it takes a second for it to get slipped back into place. I would prefer that we don't get too dramatic about it. I know that's odd coming from me, but I can hope against hope that we would be able to reason with him.
Well, the first thing we have to do is get him here. Assuming you are in this debris. And if not, I guess we'll start rooting around, or at least I would, because I have the gloves. And Marius just starts walking.
Does anyone have heightened senses?
I don't think I do.
Well, then I guess it's straight wits and awareness for everyone who does not have heightened senses. Let's
say I'm not an Auspex kid.
No, not this time.
You said what's awareness?
Yeah.
Can I also actually just use Sense the Unseen?
You certainly can.
Okay.
That was 3 for me.
Mm-hmm.
What is the roll, actually?
I'm not going to make you require... No, there's no roll. 3. Mm-hmm. It's not going to make you require a roll. No, you don't see anything hidden here, not yet. Who rolled 5 successes? Vern, you hear sort of like mumbling. It's very soft and very faint. It's coming from underneath the building. Someone talking to themselves.
And we gotta go down. He's in the basement. I can hear him talking to himself down there, the fucking kook.
Of course he's in the basement.
Oh, good boy.
Thank you, Vern.
Lovely. I'm going to rouse for prowess to help move things.
If
I succeed.
If he sees me coming, he's going to run.
Do you want to take up the back, dear?
I've just been waiting for you to ask. And Vern will go around to the back door and camp out.
there's really no back door anymore because the building is completely burnt out.
Oh,
It's
that's
just a flat space of black.
General
burnt-
vicinity.
Yeah.
He finds a door in the rubble and just stands in front of it.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much.
I also, I would like to aid Arthur in this endeavor if I can. I have prowess and wrecker.
Oh, perfect. You can make me both those rush checks. Were you sitting at your hunger, 2? No, 1.
1, and I don't get hungrier, and then I do get hungrier, so I'm
So
back
you
to
get
2.
back to 2. All right.
I'm at 2.
As you dig through this rubble, Arthur and Vern, Marius and Brienne waiting nearby, and Brienne just hoping that her outfit doesn't get entirely ruined by ash and dust and dirt. Arthur, you hear a strange voice right behind your ear. It's right about where Vern is standing. And the voice says, "Been a long time, Adi. Long time."
I assume I recognize the voice if it's calling me that.
You certainly do.
Under my breath, I'll just say, "Can we help you?" As I continue to move things.
You say it out loud.
Yeah, out loud, but like an under my breath.
I certainly hope so.
A little louder, but in a way that seems like I'm talking to either Vern or myself. I just go, "Well, come on, I don't have all day." As I continue to throw things.
That's so funny. I do. All day, all night, all year, 100 lifetimes.
Go on.
Nah.
Good talk then. And I continue to work.
As 2 of you work, you reveal what is less burnt is a basement area. Now, for anyone who has been in the Red Salon, which would be all of you, none of you had ever been allowed into the basement area, not even you, Vern. You have no idea what went on down here. As far as you were aware, the Red Salon was a place for you to get a drink. Or a hookup, if you were so inclined. Who leads the way down? So not bringing up the rear.
Yeah, I was like, are you sure? Because Marius doesn't mind.
did
the
just
whole...
say.
Yeah, you did just say.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, no. I have an
goes-
idea.
Goes
It
to
might be a
start.
dumb
Here's the
idea.
clicker.
I love dumb ideas.
So, like, remember how Zach mentioned that he has melpomene?
You also have Melpomene.
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna regret this. Okay, so I'd like to use it as we go down with the purpose of making an actual conversation seem really, really enticing. Like, this isn't a threat. This isn't this isn't Bryony trying to muscle her way into anything, because have you seen her? She has no muscles to speak of.
You can roll me charisma and persuasion. I don't believe you have a specialty in persuasion. Seduction? You do actually seduction, don't you?
Yeah.
Depends on how
I
you're doing
don't know if
this.
this is
Well, it depends.
I think Brienne knows better than to try and seduce the Malkavian Primogen.
I'm leaving it
I think-
entirely up to you, whether you want to take that specialty extra die or not. That's where the role playing
Well, I
comes
mean-
in, baby.
Does it already add the presence in for Melpomene and awe?
Yes. So you get persuasion and charisma, plus your dots and presence.
5, 6.
But you could add an
Jesus
extra die
Christ,
if
Pretzel!
but you can add an extra die if you want to also be like, come on, baby.
Hold, please. Let me just count that up real quick. 4, 5, 6.
You're at 1 hunger. You could
7,
rouse
8.
the blood and get a couple extra die. Could make it a huge dice pool.
You know what? I'm only at 1 hunger right now, so we may as well. That's 5 successes. I can do better. I'm gonna reroll.
I would say so if you have more than 10 dice to roll for this. 10 dice to roll for this.
That puts me at 8.
8 successes. So Miss Brienne leads the way, speaking, and I assume everyone keeping a respectful distance away from Brienne, within eyeline, just so that you're not all hit with the Melpomene.
Yeah, no, I would definitely give the others a warning.
Yeah.
Don't, unless you don't want to retain your faculties, maybe keep a couple of steps back.
As the rest of you walk behind Brienne, who is calling out for Richard, calling out for him to come have a conversation, all of you can hear his muttering now, deeper into the basement. Marius, you activated Sense the Unseen. You see that the rooms down here, which are not looking super clean, but they're not demolished either, they are covered in blood sigils, covered floor to ceiling everywhere. And you walk, and Arthur, of course, you walk through them as well, Vern as well. These are experiment rooms. There's no other way that you could put it. There are cages in these rooms. There are monitors in these rooms, gurneys to strap people to. There's extraction equipment to pull blood out of people. There looks like there's certain rooms that look almost like, Amari, it's like the last time when you were in university, like mouse traps, like rooms that were made to be giant mazes for people to run through. Richard was doing heavy experimentation on at least humans down here. But with your Sense the Unseen and your abilities in blood sorcery, you can see that some of the blood on these walls did not come solely from him. There are other kindred blood splattered on this wall.
Could I, disfigure some of the stray sigils? Maybe,
You certainly
put
can.
a scratch through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Certainly can. Nothing happens, and as you get closer and start scratching through them, you realize that they're not blood sigils at all. You thought these aren't occult symbols; these are magic symbols. He's not doing blood sorcery. This is his own way of keeping track of what these rooms do. It's some symbol that only means something to Richard.
Disappointing.
Very. But you can taste the blood if you'd like.
Yeah.
Roll.
It's like a little quick swipe. Oh, I get one more die because I'm blood potency too.
Yes, you are. DeJohn can't be all bad, right?
Right? Okay, so that is... It's so sexy of me, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes.
Yeah. You're getting not just one kindred out of this, but what you're getting is they are all thin bloods. Now, you've lived in Boston for quite a while. You ain't never met one.
Going to keep that to myself.
Mm-hmm. Arthur and Vern, what is going through your mind as you're looking through what could only be described as mad science experiment rooms that you're walking through?
I hate the decor.
As you say that, you hear that voice in your mind again. Yeah, Dick was never really good at decorating.
Not in the slightest.
I think from Vern's standpoint, this reminds him a bit too much of when Quentin would make him sleep in the kennel.
Mm-hmm.
This is it's much more like a fucked up nightmare vet's office than he wanted to believe.
And as you get those feelings, you hear very loudly in your mind, "Sit!"
He does immediately.
And then an uproarious laughter.
Fine.
I'm just gonna turn his head. Yeah.
Brian, you'll reach your hand down. Come on.
Right. Stupid.
No, you're not.
Okay.
As you say that, Richard steps out from one of these rooms and he says, "You have to show the dog discipline." That's what he said. He said, "You have to show the dog discipline. You can't be kind to the dog. Otherwise, the dog won't remember his place." And Richard looks horrific. He's completely disheveled. He's dirty, muddy. His shirt is torn. He looks like he's been having a real rough time down here, and he looks ravenously hungry, and he is just walking around muttering to himself. He has no shoes on.
Richard,
Oh dear.
Primogen.
And he stops when you say that and stares at you, wild-eyed. Who are you? There is no blood to be had. I'm busy.
I understand that. And I appreciate your work. We all do. But you're needed.
Tell the king that there is no blood to be had. I'm not ready.
Of course, of course. He would never think to rush good work.
He looks at you, Vern, and he sort of reaches into his pocket for a dead pigeon. And he says, "A snack? Snack?"
Vern will walk forward and kind of. He's already a small man. He's 5'1" on a good day in the right shoes, and take the pigeon from his hand.
When you try and take it from his hand, he lifts it and he throws it. Fetch!
Is my potent still active?
Yeah.
I'm gonna break his fucking jaw.
Perfect.
Strength
roll.
roll with my potence dice. Okay, so that's 3,
Resist. He's not gonna fight back.
4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then he is kindred, so that is another 1. Okay.
The only thing I'll allow him is to allow him to activate toughness.
Fuck it. I'm gonna rouse the blood too. Fuck him. I do not get hungry.
Mm-hmm.
I add 2 dice because my blood potency is 2. Jesus. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Everybody with the big dice pools, pulling out the big dice pools.
4,
Fuck it, we ball.
Mm-hmm.
8, 12, 13, 14, 15. 18 with 2 crits.
18 with 2 crits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only minus 3 from that, so 5. Yeah, I don't even have to worry about that, really. You punch him into torpor.
Yeah, I don't have lethal body, but I do have prowess.
It doesn't really matter because he only has 5. As old as he is and as high blood potency as he is, his stamina is 1, and he doesn't have. He does not have resilience either. He has unswayable mind.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
There is an actual squawk. Brian, he's startled.
As Vern just lands a very solid left hook.
He crumbles.
watches me crumble.
He crumbles to the floor. Falls to the floor like a sack of potatoes.
Vern will look down and spit on him, and he'll say, "Fetch that cunt."
Vern.
Well, that simplified things.
Okay. Oh god.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And in your mind, Vern, you hear, "Good dog."
I know.
I'm good. Sorry. Laura is also like, what the fuck just happened? Because I don't think I've ever seen someone cold cock a primogen before.
18 successes is not a whole lot that you could do. He had tabula rasa,
damn.
but I guess we're not going to find out how that would go.
Hot tickety damn. Okay. So Brian, after the compose himself, gonna walk over. Vern, are you still just kind of standing over his body?
Yeah, I'm just gonna reach down and grab him by the collar and sling him over my shoulder. We done here?
Can we
He's gonna be
real
out
quick,
for a while.
can we perhaps wrap him in something so we don't Mm-hmm.
That's actually yes.
Mhm.
And storyteller, can I go back up to the rubble portion of things? Is there like a tarp anywhere in here from like when people were trying to cover up the destruction?
No. But what there is down here is many, many mortuary bags.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
that'll do.
I guess I'll start to walk towards the tarp and just stop and look at the bags and go, oh, well, there's...
Marius, you are
Mhm.
investigating these sigils. You go into the room Richard came out of.
Yeah, I do.
See this room completely different. Strange. Seemed to have been behind a wall. You needed a keypad to access it, but it's now open. But the other rooms didn't require specific keypads. They required a key card. In this room, it looks like what you might call an Iron Maiden. It's chained to the wall. It's covered in blood, drenched in it, and it's open. Do you taste the blood inside? Roll me resolve
Unfortunately.
and blood sorcery. As Arthur zips Richard Dunham up into the bag, Brienne and Vern, do you watch what Marius is doing, or are you helping with Richard?
Do I recognize the Iron Maiden?
You do not.
I think he'll just look to Brienne and then look back to Marius. I don't think that's a good idea.
Marius, sweetie.
1 second.
I appreciate you and your expertise in this matter, but I am, how do they say, the vibes are horrendous. Can we maybe not?
You taste the blood of a very, very old Malkavian. Of the 6th generation.
They start looking around the rest of the room. I imagine that the Iron Maiden is empty. It's just...
It is. But the blood that it's drenched in was from someone who was inside of it.
Just step out, shaking his head. We should go. We should just leave everything as it was, and we'll talk about it later. Please.
That is fine by me. I would like to not be here anymore, please. Not a fan.
Marius, can I say something?
No.
All right.
Let's go.
Can I hang back with Vern as the others walk out?
Yes. And you may have that conversation in 1 minute. Quinn and Sky. Saris informed you that the Bloodstone started speeding away from the Queen's cellar in a rate that was far too fast for it to have been her sire traveling with a coterie as she was watching from the rooftops. So she informed you that they were traveling somewhere else, and you'd have followed them there. You followed them to the Red Salon, and I need to know, Sky, as you've waited in the shadows with your pack, how does it feel being this close to the Red Salon again?
I think instead of freaking out, and there is this instinct to immediately start reliving the things that you went through in such a place, right? And as she stands there and looks at this place for a second, she yet again is this teenager who didn't know what happened to her and ran for her life with her friends, being handed over to a prince who then sold her off, being trapped, not even having time to think about what life, you've been pushed in, and if your family is still alive, not even getting a second to think about them as you are forced into contraptions, into mazes, being fed stuff, being fed from for what feels like forever. And that's just happening to a kid. He didn't know what the fuck they got thrown into. Instead of letting those thoughts take over, though, she has kind of learned to switch it off, especially through her years with the Sabbat and with her pack. She just very abruptly switches off in her mind. She starts smiling and like fiddling with something in her jacket. Like it sounds like metal clinking as she's like rolling back and forward on her heels, and she's, if he's in there, we're gonna torch the fucking place.
That was never a question.
I don't
will
care
never
if he's
step
in
foot in
there.
the building again. Yes.
We're not gonna kill him, though. No. He deserves a little taste of what he paid for.
He's going to live a very long time in a very small place.
I hope he tastes absolutely disgusting too.
Probably of some sort of ash.
Back inside, as you're making your way out, Bree and Vern, please have that conversation now.
I think Vern is going to clutch this body bag very close. She says, I don't like what that looks like.
No. I don't like what that points to either.
You don't understand.
Then help me understand.
Quentin told me what would happen if he ever came back. It's not. Arthur only returns from Avalon when the world is in great danger. He just doesn't understand that he's the danger.
Oh. Is that the warning you needed to give Marius?
I don't know. I don't know that there's anything that I can tell any of you to warn you enough. He'll break you until you love him. That's what he did to all of us.
Well, then we should make sure that he does not get the opportunity.
Quentin returning is like the sun rising and setting. Can you snatch it from the sky? He is inevitable. He always said as much. You don't... Being in a room with him was like being in a room with God.
I know that I am still young in terms of what we are capable of. The politics, that is something that you can be taught to an extent. But I can't say I understand because I don't. I haven't had to bear witness like that.
You can't teach power. Either you have it or you don't. And you have it. You just don't know it.
You say the sweetest things, Vern.
Don't thank me yet.
And as the four of you come up out of the basement through the rubble, you are greeted by a team of rats. Surrounding you in a semicircle, staring at you with their little red eyes.
Oh, good. I was right.
Great.
You pretty fast, Art. You pretty fast, Zeb.
Decent.
Quinn, with your shadow perspective, you relay that to Sky, that is something Vern has said.
I think with that, there is a clicking of a metal pin being taken out of something and something thrown their way.
Everyone, dexterity, athletics. If you have celerity, add those dots.
Mm-hmm.
If you have fortitude, add those dots.
Okay.
You're gonna need it.
I can re-roll for that.
Sky, will you give me just a general, give me a dexterity and thin blood alchemy and add your athletics to it?
Yep.
Can I rouse?
You may. Everyone may.
Yeah, I'm also rousing.
We will
Okay,
not be on the
rousing.
same night the next night. The next time we play.
Ooh.
Quinn, are you assisting in this in any way? Would you like to use Arms of Araman or anything like that?
Yeah, no, Quinn's getting high off that vinculum with the way Sky is feeding into that ruthlessness, and she's making sure everything goes on point. And if they try and run, we're wrapping the whole place in shadow.
Okay, make me 2 rouse checks. Roll me Wits in Oblivion.
I also rolled a rouse check for the thin blood alchemy. So,
you have
but it's
Catinating blood. Yep.
Yeah.
I would like, if I could, I want to use my body as much of a shield for Marius as I can.
Sure. It's going to depend on what Marius rolled and what you rolled.
3 successes.
I do have both Defy Bane and Toughness for Fortitude. I don't know if that's going to help here.
You could.
It could. You make me another rouse check for toughness.
Sure. I will not get hungrier.
How many successes in total did you roll? This isn't really going to do damage, is the thing.
13.
I will also use it.
Sorry.
13. Perfect.
I will also use a willpower. That's just what I said.
13. 3 for Marius. Arthur, what did you roll?
So the result of this, I have a question based off of this, which is, can I see who threw it?
No.
Okay, then this is going to
They're,
get
they're,
real
current, they're
weird
currently
in a little
in the shadows with Quinn.
bit. All right, well, this is going to get real weird in a bit because I got an 11 messy critical.
Perfect.
Oh my god, twins!
Perfect.
14. Yeah, with crits.
14. That beats everybody. Brianny, what was your roll?
6 successes.
That beats everyone. What was that Wits in Oblivion roll, please, Quinn?
11 with a messy crit. I wasn't joking, twins.
All right. Here's what happens. This bomb is thrown, and all of you suddenly feel like you cannot move, like your body has become like lead weights. You fall to the ground. You are paralyzed. Some of you are writhing. That would be Vern and Arthur. You're not entirely paralyzed, but Marius and Brianny, you cannot move. You cannot blink. You cannot speak. You are paralyzed as if you had been staked. Arthur and Vern, though, you can manage some words and you can move. However, move slightly. However, you become completely constricted as two shadow tendrils stretch out and hold both of you fast. Now, Quinn, while you're doing this, you cannot move. The rats gather all around you. Priscilla comes in from the other side with a shotgun and points it directly at your head, Arthur, as you are the one who was carrying Richard. And all three of them...
No, Vern was, but okay.
Oh, okay. Then directly at your head, Vern. Excuse me. And all three of them, before they do anything else, look to Sky, who emerges from the shadows. And right now, Brienne and Marius, you're covered in rats and you can't do anything.
Arthur was holding Richard, right?
Vern. Brienne and Marius, at least you're safe inside your mind.
Okay. I walk up and I'm like cackling a little bit. I get close enough and then I look at Richard, who is seemingly also not moving, seems to be just out of it. And I think about taking him myself for a second and like pulling him up or anything. But the thought absolutely disgusts me. So I just walk up closer to Vern and I just pick Richard's head so that he falls away from Vern.
Have you unzipped the bag to see that he's in it? He's in a body bag?
Yeah, sure. I unzip the bag.
How constricted is my movement?
Extremely. You're being held by shadow tendrils. If you do attempt to start moving around, and also you're hit with a, like,
sure,
sort of like the basal ganglia grenade from Second Inquisition, but this is a thin blood alchemy thing. If you try and attempt to move now, you're going to get some nice fun damage from the cold, icy cold power of oblivion that's surrounding you.
Sounds great. I'm gonna try and bite Sky.
Yeah, sure. Okay, make me a, let's do strength and melee, because you're trying to use your teeth. I'm going to give you a 3 dice penalty. Sky, dexterity, and athletics. Or let's do wits and awareness.
Yeah, what's an awareness?
Can I keep adding my potence to this pool?
Yes. And Quinn, make me one, because I assume once this happens, no matter what happens, you are going to whip him with your tendril. So make me another wits and oblivion. Priscilla is also pointing a shotgun right at your head.
All right. So I did use point of willpower, and I did get hungry, arousing the blood.
So you're at 3 hunger? 4 hunger?
Yes. 3.
3.
4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 16 successes, messy crit.
Perfect. 16 successes. Well, unfortunately, no one's going to be fast enough to stop this. Sky, he's going to bite into your leg. He's going to bite.
Stop it.
Yeah, he's going to bite you so severely that he's going to rip your leg off down from the ankle. And I mean, technically, he's going to put you into torpor. Technically, he's gonna. Unless you have over 8 points of health.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No.
You have 6. So he is going to put you in a torpor. He's going to rip your leg down from the knee down. But you are going to drink some of her blood. You're going to get a 1-point blood bond to Sky. Going to feel regretted immediately. And Sky, you are going to fall to the ground. Quinn, 8 successes. You whip down on Vern. That is going to be 4 points of aggravated damage to Vern. Priscilla is also, because what you've done to their packmate, Priscilla's going to shoot you right directly in the head.
Sure.
with her shotgun.
Also, Huddy,
Yeah.
Vern, I mean, unless you were gonna do that, but Vern would start vomiting. I have
did you-
abhorrent blood.
Did you take that?
Yeah.
Oh,
I took
Jesus Christ.
abhorrent blood.
Yep. So you're going to turn over, start puking. Sorry, there's so many things happening at the moment. You're going to start puking, and Priscilla's going to shoot you directly in the head. Arthur, you can do one of two things. You can be fast enough to get Priscilla out of the way, or you can be fast enough to get Vern out of the way, or you can be fast enough to pick up the other two of your new coterie who are not moving. Pick one.
I guess I suppose fast enough to shoot somebody is not an option. I did bring my weapons.
Crit. 2 crits. That's 10. That's 10 successes. 10 successes to shoot Vern directly in the head with a shotgun.
So with that, can I be fast enough to shoot somebody, or do I have to be fast enough to move? Period.
You have to be fast enough to move. Period. Because you'd
Okay,
have to move and then get your gun.
Okay. Then I'm going
pick
to. I'm going to move to just slam into Priscilla.
Quinn, you've hit Marius with your whip. You see that Sky is a torpor. Peaches is panicking. Priscilla's about to shoot Vern directly in the head. Peaches has started gathering the rats together and has started gathering Sky's body and are running away with her body with the rats.
10, cool. 11 critical.
Perfect. So
I have the violence compulsion up right now, by the way.
Yes. You fell under a messy critical. Did I not say for you to go under your compulsion of rebellion?
I've got the
or
double,
violence.
I have the twice curse.
Twice curse?
So,
You have twice curse,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So
it's
violence,
rage or violence.
Yeah, violence. All right.
I also feel the need to very quickly interject. I did that 16 was with a messy crit from Vern as well.
Okay, you are also going to fall under your clan compulsion, of which you totally have one.
Animal instinct, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Peaches is currently running away with Sky. Let's deal with that. Quinn, you can decide to stay here with Priscilla, or you can run.
Quinn is... It's that deep set hatred where she wants Richard.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way she's going to do that is to be able to grab him and run.
You're going to grab him and run.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Make me a wits and athletics.
Now,
hang on. I ain't got to you. You wait. Arthur.
You're puking your gut out there, honey.
You
Like,
fucking
hold
wait,
on a
dude.
fucking second.
Arthur,
You're gagging all over the place.
you slam into Priscilla, get her out of the way. The shotgun still goes off, but it shoots wide.
Mm-hmm.
You may take an action. You are freed. You are still feeling the effects of this thing, so you are practically on all fours.
Okay.
But you may take an action now.
What role do you have me do for shooting? Is it composure
Composure
firearms
and
or is it
firearms.
dexterity firearms?
Composure and firearms. So it's not any penalty to your physical dice.
Okay.
Physical
So
meaning
roused.
strength, stamina, and dexterity.
Yep.
Now, Vern, what would you like to do?
I was just asking a question.
You may ask.
Since Quinn is moving, Arms of Ahriman stops?
Yes, it does. That's why, yes. That well, as soon as she, used it to whip you down, she could no longer hold both you and Arthur. She switched the ability around.
I am going to guard dog over Dunham's body.
All right, so it's going to be a roll-off between you and Quinn.
Yes.
So let's do a composure and intimidation. Zach.
6 successes to plug my 480 Ruger snub-nose revolver into Priscilla's head and fire at point-blank range.
Perfect.
And that is a +4 damage.
She is not going to have much time to react. I am going to attempt to give it to her, though.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have any dots in athletics. Oh, Priscilla.
I liked her, too.
You were a fun Malkavian. She rolled 1 success.
Cool. So that I guess that's the margin is 5, and then I got +4 damage.
You shoot her directly in the head and directly into torpor. She falls flat.
Just blast her, followed on top her, and go. I liked you out of the group.
For the record, Sky, you can no longer see her. You never saw Peaches. Brady doesn't even know who Peaches is. You never saw Peaches. And the rats are gone, and Sky's body's gone. Quinn, what did you roll?
What was I supposed to roll? Because my
I
brain
am so
blanked.
sorry.
Yeah.
A wits, and you were grabbing Richard's body, right? So wits and athletics.
Okay. I did roll the right pool. That would be 6 successes.
Okay, versus Vern's composure and intimidation.
I need one more dice because I rolled charisma by accident. Messy crit, 7 successes.
How much did you roll, Quinn? 6?
6.
All right. You are under your clan your compulsion. Do you not have a penalty to... What do you... No, it's not composure, right? We had that discussion where I'm like, it should be composure when you're under your compulsion for gangrel, but it's not.
It's manipulation and charisma.
Yeah, that's goofy. Okay. It should also be composure and resolve, I feel like.
And probably intelligence, but hey, who are we trying to kid here?
Yes, he is guarding over the body of Richard Dunham. He's growling, he's snarling, he's acting like the dog who needs a biscuit, as you called him. And you are too intimidated by this sudden feralness to this, what seemed like a dog on a leash, to grab for Richard's body. Now,
So seeing it's we warned them. And taking up towards where Sky and Peaches went.
Now Priscilla is down. Arthur is still here. Quinn, you want to run. Arthur, do you want to shoot after her?
Oh, you know I do.
Perfect. Quinn, do you have anything shadowy that you can do? That'll help you out here.
No.
No? All right.
Not for blocking. Just hiding.
Then it's a dexterity athletics. If you're running towards the shadows and you have shadow cloak, you can add to it. I'll actually add to it your dots and oblivion to it.
Oh, willpower spend.
Unfortunately, Brienne and Marius are just laying there paralyzed.
I also love the visual of Vern just like vomiting all over this body bag that
Yeah.
Richard's.
Yeah, you're covered.
While
Two
also like
successes.
snarling.
Yeah. And saying no,
Like a
because
true
you can only
feral
speak
dog.
in like single word things. No,
Single word sentences.
go away.
Kindred
5.
Cujo.
Yeah. 5? How about you, Quinn?
2.
2 successes. All right. So you shoot. Yeah. So you shoot at Quinn with +4. So you're going to take, oh God, 4 and 3 is 12. Yeah, 4 and 3 is 7. 7 success, 7 superficial, which is 3 ag plus 2 superficial. Does that fill your track? I believe he shouldn't kill you outright. Unless, of course, you took 1 dot in stamina and only have 4 health. Like Richard.
Yeah, it would, with 3 ag and 2 superficial would fill my tracker.
Yep. So with aggravated damage?
No, because it would go down to superficial.
Okay. So basically what I'm asking you is, are you in torpor or no?
No.
All right. So Quinn does successfully escape into the shadows, but you do significantly wound her, and you have put Priscilla into torpor.
I think between the two, I think I've caused enough violence equal to my bane severity.
You certainly have.
So I don't immediately bash Priscilla into nothingness.
No.
I sit there and I just look around. I'm going to get up, just look to Vern and go, pick that up as I go over and I still have potent stuff, but with prowess, I'm going to lift Brienne and Marius onto my shoulders.
Yeah, and you can make me a really quick strength and athletics roll, and you're going to have a 2 dice penalty because you're still under the suffering from this. You're going to carry both
That's
of them.
cool. That's cool. I'll rouse that and I'll get hungry.
Brienne, it's so undignified.
You know what?
And you can just stare
With everything-
daggers at him as he lifts you up.
I don't even like. Here's the thing, though.
4.
Fuck
4.
it.
You can pick up Brienne or Marius. Pick one.
If Bryony stares daggers at me, I will go shrug and just pick up Marius.
Vern, you want to give it a go?
Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
I didn't say I was staring daggers, though. Don't
Okay,
put words
okay.
in my mouth, storyteller.
I heard daggers. So then what is the?
No.
is
I
Bryony
said
staring
Brienne
at it?
can stare daggers, but can't say anything.
Okay.
Is what I said.
Yeah, no, it's very like it's resignation. It's resignation and annoyance. It's just get
Well, it's
Why
perfectly
not?
fine. You can
Sure.
take Marius, Vern, roll me. You don't. Well, because you're also carrying 2 bodies. Roll me. Make sure so you don't have to Maybe you have to leave Richard here. Oh my god.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
It'd be wild.
No offense, I would leave Marius here first. Would love you,
Wow.
love you, Bay, love you, Bay.
Can I say something? No.
I'm a dog with a bone right now. I gotta keep the bone. That's what he said.
Hey-oh.
7 successes.
Yes. So you definitely can carry both of these kindred, and you pick up Brienne. I imagine you have Richard over your shoulder, and you try and carry Brienne a little bit more delicately.
Yeah.
It's both of you is difficult. You're walking down the street. Both of you are in pain from this bomb. Yes.
Can I do one thing before I pick up Marius and walk away?
Yeah.
Dig my bullet out of Priscilla.
Perfect. Right
apparently we're
out
just
of her
leaving that
forehead.
body on the. Yeah, because we're leaving that body on the street.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
apparently,
you're suffering from whatever that fucking bomb was.
Yep. So I'm not going down for this. I'm digging that bullet out of her skull, and then I'm picking up Marius and walking.
Heading back to the Queen's cellar.
Honestly, hold on. Fair point. Vern's gonna stomp Priscilla out before they leave. He's just going to beat her to final death.
To do that, you need to destroy the head, remove the head, or you can
Easy.
leave, or you can leave her for the sunrise. Easy? Is it super easy when you're in constant state of pain from this fucking basal ganglia grenade thing?
I'm gonna at least try and take the head off.
Yeah, sure. All right. Back up. Put down Richard. Put down Brienne again. Roll me again.
Picturing like
10 successes.
just
10.
double foot on the neck, just bounce.
10 successes. Sure.
11.
Perfect. So you do that, and as you stomp down her head, big lights. Police. But we are going to move over to Quinn very quickly. Quinn, you have met up with Peaches and Sky. You're close to the harbor. The small ferry boat that you've been using to go back and forth to your base of operations here on Long Island. Saris hops out of the the ferry. And she says, Priscilla didn't make it?
No, she did not.
And I'm guessing you didn't get the primogen either.
No, their dog had him in his teeth.
And it looks like Blue Hair isn't faring too well either.
No, but we know someone who can help, so...
Cool. And she throws you the keys. I think I'm going to reconsider your invitation.
Why don't you come with us then?
Like I said, I'm reconsidering it. I don't think you have what it takes to make it here in Boston. It's fine. Not everybody does.
Your loss.
Yeah, we'll see about that. And as she strides off, you hear Sky's phone go off. Text message. Do you check it, Quinn?
Yes.
And it is a text message from Ezra. Asking to meet.
Quinn doesn't text back.
Quinn really can't. And as soon as you look at it, the phone goes dark.
Yep.
And that is where we will end. Prologue 2, One's Weaker Self, for this evening. Thank you, everyone.